Can we have the roll call, please?
Alderman Hassan.
Here.
Alderwoman Eichman.
Here.
Richard Budney.
Here.
Frank Fresco.
Here.
Kathy Richard.
Here.
Kaylee Ireland.
Here.
And Melissa Ferguson has recently resigned, as well as Nora Heidingsfeld.
All right, thank you. Can we have the pledge? Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everybody to the meeting, and this is the second item on our agenda is a citizen comment period. Is there anyone that's in attendance care to make any comments to the committee? Okay, thank you. Our next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from July 14th of 2025.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
A second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Item is passed. The fourth item that we have on our agenda is our department employee non-voting representative. And welcome, Shirley, to the group. You have a requested topic for a change in requirements for the non-represented employees regarding retiree health insurance due to similar changes that was made for the police and fire labor agreements. Could you share with us your thoughts?
Correct. Right now, retiree health insurance, you have to have 20 years of service and you have to be at least 62 years of age. Police and fire, in their contracts, had it changed to 15 years. So I am requesting that the 20 years, if that could be changed to 15 years of service.
And the age would be the same, 62? We hadn't given it thought.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Could you tell us your rationale behind the reason why you feel it should be changed?
Just to maybe align us a little bit more with the police and fire unions. So it's a benefit that they just received this past year, so I'm just requesting that the employees, the non-rep employees would get the same benefit.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone have any questions or wish to discuss this further? Does anybody wish to put forth a motion to accept Shirley's recommendation to go forward to the Common Council?
I'll make the motion.
I would second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All opposed? Item is passed. Next item is our update on the city attorney hiring process. Would that be Dana or Kelly?
I said that would be you.
I thought the alderman was, he asked for it to be on here. I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor?
Sure, clerk. So one of the things, is this working? So one of the things that we wanted to have as a discussion as far as where we're at and in the reviewing of these, the attorney applications, and I know that I have not had an opportunity with Kelly to sit down and go over these things because of a lot going on with the budget. However, there needs to be eyes looked at them as far as where we're going and if we even have qualified candidates. We need the qualified candidate to obviously move forward for the full-time city attorney. That would be our only city attorney. But I've only heard from Dana, and I haven't really dug into it as much. But I definitely want Personnel Committee to be aware of what the status is. I think we had one additional one as of late. Not sure if it's a salary thing, if we're not, high enough. Do we need to add 10 more grand into the top end of this? Just looking for some ideas. I have ideas, but I want to make sure that we, do a little bit of vetting. But I think we may have to add a little more and keep it outwardly posted, perhaps bring in one or two that might be viable candidates, and see what we have.
Any questions of the mayor?
Can I ask how many applications we've received thus far?
I believe there's been 8.
Do we have it advertised on the League of Municipalities website?
Yes.
Are there any other legal sites that it should be advertised on? Like, does Marquette have a hiring board? Or
It's been on the league right now. It's been on our city website. It's been out on Indeed, and we've gotten, I think, 7 of our applicants from Indeed. I have not put it on the state bar website yet. That does cost, I think, $150 a week, so that's something that we can look at. But I don't know of any other sites yet to use.
thank you.
Any, Kelly?
Yes, I just wanted to say I have a attorney friend that had been interested in the position years past, and I just had kind of done a little follow-up to see what his thoughts were. And he said that with the expectations, he would think it would have been closer to 150. So for the range to go up to that, I should say. So I think that might be something to consider. I think it's asking for things like potentially litigating, which we don't really do. So I think we could also fix the job description to be a little bit more accurate in line with what we currently do, and try to maybe make one change at a time in terms of maybe we continue on with the other legal supports that our city attorney currently has and lessen the load for the new person. And then over time and experience and familiarity with the city, maybe we can start to pull back a little bit, and that person might be comfortable in doing more that's outside of what the city attorney is doing right now and that we contract out for.
Dana?
I did I did also get a list of all the city attorneys in the state of Wisconsin from the League of Wisconsin Municipalities. So I did look up a lot of the city attorneys, try to find their email addresses and what they were currently being paid on some of the open record websites, and kind of cold called a few of these people to try to convince people to apply. And nobody's reaching out to send in their resumes based on that.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor? Did you have-
Yeah, just a couple quick things, and I know Frank was waiting to say some things. Looking at this position and looking at what we, with not Dana, as taxpayers are paying is insane amount of money for legal every year. I mean, it is absolutely mind-boggling what. So we, I remember a year ago or so when we went this, we're paying Wazalowski's firm over $1 million in 3 years, as well as a number of other firms that handle litigation, they handle we are paying a lot of money. So that's why I'm thinking that what might address some of that is if we put another 10 grand on the top end of this, at least a shot. It's not going to hurt anything to see where we're at, but we of everything that we have Jesse do plus what we farm out is really, really concerning. And now being in as a mayor for 2.5 years, it's not getting any better. So that's why we moved to the direction we're moving. But I think another 10 might spark some people and might give us what's the worst that can happen? It still has to go, through a process. But I think that's the right thing to do, and that's what I'm looking to perhaps get that from you, personnel members.
Thank you. Frank?
I think Dana answered part of my question was how many applicants have we had? Is there anything you can tell us about the experience level? Do the people fit pretty much the experience? Or are these going to be more in training kind of startups?
A lot of them have either had like real estate experience or Quite a few worked with the district attorney's offices, so not, I think only one had any municipal experience.
But they were comfortable enough to apply within the salary ranges?
Yes.
Okay.
Kaylee?
That was actually my question. I was curious if any of the applicants met the requirements that we were looking for. So it doesn't, not really is what I would have gathered from your answer.
On paper, probably no.
So I heard the figure of $10,000 more. Is that what you had said as far as a starting salary?
I'd like to see the salary range increased by 10,000, just to see if we can pull some others out. Because I guess a big part that I thought we would have got is that I thought we would have got some assistant city attorneys from the city of Milwaukee that have that municipal experience that we're looking to come and serve in a suburban area, still close to the Milwaukee, but that's where they got a lot of experience, and we really didn't get that. DA's office focusing on criminal, I don't think would have fit us, but a city attorney for Milwaukee, because they have a number of them that work in many different capacities, I thought would have been a group that would have sparked it. But that's why I think we need a little more money.
What is the posted range, if you remind me from last time?
I didn't bring that information with me. I thought it was up to 135,000, if I remember right.
Yeah,
Not positive.
Might have been on the like closer to 140, but yeah, it's around there, I think.
I wanted to bring it up to 150.
Yeah, we had spoken like about 180, but that included benefits for the
Right,
employees.
the
So that had,
Yeah.
that's sort of a misnomer.
Yeah, I think if we probably brought it, the range, capped it at 150, it might be good. I think, one of the things, and I had expressed this today or yesterday, so I'm not discussing past applicants, but one of the things that I had mentioned is I'd like to see all applicants as long as they have a degree to practice law. And just to kind of get a feel for what's out there, what they're looking for, because again, we rely heavily on other firms to provide employment law. In fact, we farm all of that out. Litigation is predominantly through our insurer. So there's aspects of this that when you start taking litigation away, you start taking employment law away, you're left with more of an administrative legal perspective that I think we could whoever is interested and eventually ends up filling this position, if they don't have the experience, can certainly step into it and gain that experience. I mean, the foundation has to be there, I think, is the most important part.
So have we interviewed any of the 7 candidates?
No.
Any particular reason why? I mean, I was just kind of going off of what Kelly said, that we want to see them. I mean, I know that sometimes a resume doesn't have every single requirement that we put on a job description. People will still apply. And if we're looking for someone who has the foundation, and if they applied at this current level,
why increase it without going
without
down
at
that?
least
Yeah.
exploring what their levels are. I'm not saying that I don't, think maybe we could increase it, but we should at least look at them.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not, I understand. If they're not even close, I get it. But if they're at least close, then why haven't we interviewed any of them yet?
Well, I can chime in. When Dana gets the applications, she's provided me information that they don't even meet minimum quals. Some are not in, so we wouldn't interview those. So I guess, and maybe I was naive that I would thought when we posted this position that, hey, it's Franklin tidal wave coming in, and a tidal wave of 8 is not. So, and then of those 8, the information I got from Dana is that they didn't even meet minimum requirements as posted. They just put in. So again, I'd have to look at some of the latest one that's perhaps turned in. But again, I think to Kelly's point, if we bring up a little more, if we'd had 18 or 20, I think we'd have something. But 8 is not good.
Now, the 150,000 is the maximum, correct?
Yes, sir.
If you hire somebody, you may hire them in at 135 or so.
Mm-hmm.
But you're trying to attract
More
better-
candidates.
More candidates.
Mm-hmm.
So sitting here as a member of the committee, I honestly feel $10,000 isn't really that large of a bump in today's world, economic world. I would propose that we go higher, like 20,000 cap, 20,000 more if our budget would be able to allow that, the city's budget.
I think capping it at 150 is the right move and then seeing how that is. But I also think that those applicants, we have to look at the ones that have applied. And I think that I need a reason why we wouldn't call them in to talk with them. You know, I think that that's kind of where we start is what we have right now. And so, I mean, if they have a degree, I would like to... You know, if they can practice law in this state, I would like to at least discuss it with them, even very, minimally, quickly, but just to kind of feel out the situation, because I don't think that somebody might not just walk in that meets everything that we want and is willing to take what we're paying. So we're going to have to adjust, and I think being flexible is the right approach.
So as our director of administration who oversees the budget, you're comfortable with the 150?
Mm-hmm. It's a substantial decrease over what we have budgeted yearly.
So I'd like to make a motion that we increase it to 150,000. Make a motion. I'm sorry, you make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passed. Our next item, the approval of a letter of understanding regarding wages for the paramedic captain position.
Good evening to the committee.
Could you please introduce yourselves?
I am Jim Mayer, Fire Chief for City of Franklin.
Shannon Antoine, Assistant Chief of Fire Department.
Thank you.
We're excited to bring to you this evening some updates on two new roles within our department that we've been working on for quite some time. The first is the captain position, which is titled paramedic captain because the individuals will have to be licensed as a paramedic. Your committee approved our job description late last year. We have been working on a promotional process as well as including the funding for this position in the 2025 budget, which the funding has been approved. The promotional process is in the works right now with 3 of our current lieutenants that have applied for the position. The next step, because this is a new role within the department, it was not included in our current contract with the firefighters local. In fact, during our last contract negotiations is when the idea for this position actually spawned. Both the firefighters local, which we do have Lieutenant Brad Pulaski with us this evening if you have any questions for the firefighters local, but both the firefighters local and the administration of the department agreed on the value of creating this position, which is a middle management position that is just below currently our shift commander is a battalion chief level, which is a position that is out of the union, not represented. From that position, we have shift lieutenants. We have 9 lieutenants divided between our 3 shifts. And to give you a little bit of idea of what they do, the lieutenants are more of a working, I would call them like a job foreman, where they oversee a crew of between 3 to 4 personnel. They are in the field working directly supervising the crew like a job foreman, whereas the battalion chief or shift commander oversees the entire shift of 15 personnel, 3 fire stations, and has a lot more responsibility. When that shift commander, that battalion chief, when they are off on scheduled leave or sick leave or whatever, one of the lieutenants has to step up and fill that position. And it's quite a difference in responsibility, being responsible for one fire company of 3 people versus being responsible for the fire services in the whole city with 15 people under your direction. So depending on the level of experience of the lieutenant, some of them were very comfortable going to that role. Some of them were not so comfortable going to that role. So the captain's position is designed to kind of fill that middle level position. It's designed to be an opportunity for professional development for the officers that aspire to become a shift commander one day in the future. So they're kind of the understudy of the battalion chief. They're going to have responsibilities for managing one of our a single fire station. So they'll be responsible for the physical plant or structure of that station and the management of the activities related to it. And then when there is an opportunity, when the need to fill the shift commander role on an acting basis comes up, they will be the designated person. They are interested in aspiring for that position. So that's kind of the in a nutshell the role of what the captain will be doing. So again, the job description already has been approved by your committee and the council. The funding is in our budget, and we have 3 people who are going through a promotional process. However, we didn't tell them or don't have it established what they're going to be paid. So with the assistance of HR manager, Zahn, I always want to call you director, but manager, we've established the wage letter of understanding that's in front of you. In agreement with the firefighters local, it's a 5% lift in what the current paramedic lieutenant rank is, which fits it right directly in between the 2 roles that I had mentioned before, and it is also in line with our comparable communities who also have this position established. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Frank?
Now, this position is still
Frank,
in
could
the
you speak
bargaining unit?
Could you please speak into the microphone?
This position is still in the bargaining unit?
This position is still in the bargaining
Is
unit.
it typical to have a supervisory, I'm coming mainly from private industry where a foreman or supervisor typically wasn't in the bargaining unit?
Dana can correct me if I'm wrong, but there is actually a state statute that identifies that in public safety and in public service. And typically it's the highest ranking supervisor that is on shift. So in our case, the battalion chiefs are that level where they are out of the bargaining unit. Since this position would only be acting in that capacity on an as-needed basis, they are still in the bargaining unit.
So, but what, then the lieutenants, how do they?
They are still in the bargaining unit as well.
Okay.
They're more of that job foreman type thing.
Okay.
But it is, it's identified in a state statute. I apologize, I don't know exactly what the number is.
Any other questions? Surely you're a guest on the committee. You have a right to ask any questions if you'd like. Okay. So I would just like a little clarity. We have the battalion chief, who's the person in charge. Now we have a firefighter captain, right? And now we're going to have a paramedic captain. Is that correct?
No, and I may have misspoke. It's just a single position. The title is paramedic captain. There won't be a fire captain. So if you actually look at the chart that's there, it kind of steps through the ranks.
So they play that dual role. So all of our employees are firefighter paramedics. There is no separation between fire and paramedic. We're all one of the same.
Oh,
if that
thank you
helps.
for clarifying
Yeah.
that. I thought paramedics were a special breed, and then the firefighters as well. But they have a dual role.
Yes.
That's impressive. Okay. Any other questions? Then is there a motion to approve the?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item is passed. Will you stay with us for the next item, number 7? Okay. Then,
And Assistant Chief Antoine oversees our emergency medical services. So she will be taking the lead on telling you about our community paramedic position.
So the community paramedic position is it's a position that will be funded through grants through the Milwaukee County OEM. So it's a fully grant-funded position. It would be a 40-hour-a-week position, Monday through Friday. What community paramedic is we're meeting the patients where they are. We are taking high utilizers of our system. We're taking on people that have chronic illnesses such as congestive heart failure, diabetes, asthma, stuff like that, that seem to delay their calls in calling 911. And by the time they reach us, it's too late, right? And we need to get them the care that they need in their homes, and we need to meet them where they're at. Okay, this program would do that. It is a very successful program if you look at other communities that do this. West Dallas is in Milwaukee County that does it. Milwaukee Fire Department does it. Oak Creek just launched it about roughly 4 to 6 months ago. We have Greenfield in Milwaukee County, and then also South Milwaukee is just launching it as well, and then hopefully us. So what this would do is that this position would help shape and mold this whole program. They would report to me. We currently have 8 community paramedics within the city of Franklin that have the qualifications and the schooling for it, and to include myself, and then 7 line personnel. With that, all 7 would have the opportunity to apply, and within this job description, you probably have read that a firefighter paramedic or a lieutenant or a captain could apply for this position. So right now we do have a candidate that is a community paramedic going for this captain position. If a captain is already a captain, they would stay that captain. So there's nothing higher than that. If the lieutenant gets this position, they would advance to the captain, and they would get that wage as a captain. And then as a firefighter paramedic, you would then get the wage of a lieutenant. But their role, if they would go on the line and work in the field, not as a community paramedic, their wages go back down to that line. So if they're not doing the community paramedic work, they're not getting paid that wage, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Any questions?
There is one thing, that modification within here that was brought to our attention today. So the health department has a position called health officer. They had a little bit of issue with the mobile integrated health officer being at the end with the health officer. So we'd like to change the job title to community paramedic officer. So essentially it's the same thing. The community paramedic is the one that will be doing the mobile integrated health. So that's what you do in the field. But in order to do that, you have to be a community paramedic. So I think it takes any gray areas out of someone thinking that they're working for the health department as a health officer. So we would have to change that throughout this document.
So this is a proactive.
Absolutely, yes.
The only thing that I don't have total clarity on, is this a full-time position, or do you still retain your normal position as a lieutenant, and then you're also the community paramedic, like you do a dual role?
You would only be doing this.
Only this.
But you would have to maintain your on the line fire department qualifications and training. So they would still be given time within their 40-hour work week. To say if we have a training that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday that week, we have to chisel out time for them to meet one of those days. So how our training work is that we have 3 different shifts. So we have to provide that training 3 different times for 3 different shifts. So we would work with them to chisel out that time to make sure they're still meeting the line qualifications to do the field work as a firefighter paramedic.
Okay, thank you.
One parallel, just an additional note, because there are a couple alders on the committee as well. A way to look at this position, it would be very similar or parallel to the police department, where they will take an officer and take them off the street and reassign them to maybe an investigative unit or a drug task force. So it's just a temporary assignment. Initially, we're looking at a 2-year commitment, and then they would come back. They have the option to come back onto the 24-hour shifts resuming their original role that they held within the department. The other point to make, the grant funding, we do have a guarantee of long-term grant funding that looks like it's going to be a minimum of 5 years, potentially longer. So the question with grant-funded positions is always, hey, what happens when the grant runs out? This looks like a very reliable source of funding for at least 5 years. So if there would be a change, we'd have enough time to react to it.
Thank you. Dana?
I just had a question that if a lieutenant gets this position, I'm assuming you then fill the lieutenant position?
Correct.
What happens if this person wants to go back in 2 years and there's not a lieutenant position?
We would do it through attrition.
You would what? I'm sorry, Ms. Howell.
We would do it through attrition, so like retirement or what
So
have
you
you.
wouldn't allow them to go back to their position until there was an opening as a lieutenant? Or would you have an extra lieutenant until somebody retired?
The intent was that they would have to wait until there's an opening.
And if they wanted to get off, they would have to notify us by September 1st that they
Actually,
wanted to go back,
The next document that we're going to review has got a lot of those details in it, actually.
which is the agreement. And everything would convert from like their 29, 12 hours, which is what they work in a year as a line personnel, to the 40 hours. And the conversion would go back if they went back to the line. So there is that transition period of ensuring that whatever they have currently isn't going to change if they move 40. And if they move 40 back, that nothing changes for sick time, vacation, and so forth.
Kathy, anything else?
Yeah, I just have a question about, does this affect seniority at all, or does that, like, carry through as far as, like, their time?
Like, would this position
Yeah.
be marked like, okay, if you're ahead of this person, you're going to get it? Because no, it's
Right.
all based on the most qualified
Okay.
person for this position. So all 7 people that are qualified for this position will have an opportunity to apply, and we'll pick the most qualified and certified person that meets this job description.
Okay.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to accept the job description?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. You said there was one other item on the agenda.
So the next portion is the letter of understanding with the Franklin Professional Firefighters Union that outlines all the details of the individual that is, or I should say that the conditions of the individual moving from the 24-hour shift to the Monday through Friday schedule. So that's actually the next portion that identifies a lot of the details.
So this, we worked hand in hand with the union for a good length of time, worked very well together. And this as a whole describes how that transfer of time between being on a line position to that 40-hour position would work. While submitting this, there is one clarification to this article, which would be the sick leave, which is number 10 on here, right?
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
Roman numeral 10.
Yeah. So within here, essentially what that would be, so on page 3 at the bottom, typically we've taken their sick time in the past and we've divided by the 2912 hours, which is the line person, and then multiply that by 2080 hours and then got their sick time. So essentially, we want to continue that process. We weren't aware of that process until this paperwork was submitted, and Dana had caught that for us, but it would really benefit the line personnel, and to keep with the whole process, we'd like to amend that within here. So everything tracks and follows the way it should.
So is this a change or just a clarification?
This would be a change of Article 10.
Article 10.
And it would be change to our current practice, or I should say the practice, the past practice of the conversion of sick leave hours, as recommended by the HR department.
Would the union representative, do you have anything you wish to say? Thank you. Okay. Is there a motion to accept this?
I'll make a motion,
Kathy?
yeah, to change to, the past practice for the sick leave hours as proposed by HR.
Okay. Are you confused, you said?
No, she's making a motion about the sick leave.
Yes, it's on Article 10.
Yeah.
But we actually need a motion to approve the whole letter of understanding with the one change for the sick leave.
Oh, okay.
The whole the whole article has to be approved, though, the whole letter
The
of
whole
understanding.
document needs to be
Yes.
approved, which the article is part of.
Correct.
And with here, we would also change, obviously, that title, how we did. That's also
Yeah.
need to be changed in here, just so everyone
Okay,
is
so
on the
the
same
letter
page
of understanding needs to be approved with the change
of the sick time and title.
of the sick
In
time.
the title of the position.
Correct.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve the letter of understanding between the city of Franklin and the Franklin Professional Fighter Association, Local 2760, with the change of past practice for sick leave hours.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
The motion also has to change the title.
The title. You're right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, and I'll add to change the title. What was the title?
Community paramedic officer.
For the community paramedic officer.
My second remains
It's all
without
done.
change.
Pardon me? I
My
thought I had
second
heard her say
remains.
that when she first made the,
Okay.
but you wish to clarify? You want to, Pat?
Oh, no, this is my second on hold.
Your
That
second,
changed,
okay.
yes.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for your time.
The next item, item 8, I think it probably serve our needs best if Dana could help us just explain this.
All right. So a lot of this is just some cleanup. Actually, this first one is a request to eliminate the Good Friday holiday for our former AFSCME union, which would be our DPW employees, our sewer and water employees, and our custodians. They used to always, and dispatchers. Those two groups always got the Good Friday holiday, and because of that, they got one less personal day. Our superintendents are requesting to do away with the Good Friday holiday. It becomes burdensome if we have a snow removal issue on Good Friday, and it also makes it hard for the custodians to keep the library and the police department clean when they're all off on Good Friday. So they would request the elimination of the Good Friday and the addition of their 5th personal day instead. So at the same time that we're doing that, we are requesting to just make it easier on staff and have all new hires, all non-rep new hires get 5 personal days right off the bat. Right now, people had gotten 4 when they first started, and some non-reps got their 5th after they had 5 years of seniority.
So we'd be eliminating, mandating people take off on Good Friday.
Correct. People would be able to choose what day they take off.
Any questions? Discussion? The motion to,
Yeah, I'll move to recommend the requested changes.
okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Kathy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? Item passes.
Kaylee, can you
I don't know which
ignore,
one's on now. I think this
ignore the temporary one and just use that one?
Now can you hear me? There we go.
Well, did you have anything to say, Kaylee?
No, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. All right, now, item 9. Consideration of a change to the sick leave benefits for non-represented employees, including when the accrued benefit begins and when sick leave can be used.
This one gets a little bit more complicated, so I don't have the requested changes in the attachments from the handbook and the civil service manual, but there is some inconsistency on when employees should start accruing sick benefits. Our police and fire represented employees start earning sick leave right away when they first start. Traditionally, non-reps have not started earning sick leave until they've been here for 6 months. But there's always been some vague question about that because the handbook does not state that they don't earn it for the 6 months. It just says that they can't use it for 6 months. Makes it sound like you should be earning it already. The civil service manual is fairly clear that civil service employees didn't earn it right away. Staff had talked about this in the department head meeting a week or two ago, and we are all of the opinion we should just let people start earning it from their first day of employment. Especially with COVID a few years ago, more and more people have had issues where they've needed to take a week off. And for new employees to quit a job where they might have had sick benefits and then come here and have to start from square one for the first 6 months, it's been challenging at times to get people to jump ship and come here. So our recommendation would be to allow sick leave to start right away and to be able to start using it right away. It would be nice to know if people are going to call in sick while they're still on probation.
So the scope of our consideration is to be able to allow new employees to earn sick leave from when they first start with us.
Correct.
And not have them wait 6 months.
Correct.
Okay. That's, okay.
To be able to earn it right away and to be able to use it if needed right away.
Okay.
Kaylee? I had just a question, and I may have to read it to fully understand, but what's the rate of accrual? So if somebody starts...
They get 1 day per month, 8 hours a month for a full-time person.
So, I mean, in all reality, if they're getting sick within their first month, they're not going to have sick time to use anyways. Or are they getting it kind of like we just did with the paid holidays where they get that first day, their first day? See, they haven't worked any time, so they haven't accrued any time. Does that make sense?
They accrue it on each pay period. They would get 4 hours on the first paycheck of the month and 4 hours the second check of the month.
So again,
eventually they would have some.
Right. After 1 month, they would have 1 day. But if they got sick in the middle of the month, they might have 4 hours.
Right. But at least if they were here 3 months, they might have 2 or 3 sick days on the books to use.
Any other questions? Michelle?
And Dana had mentioned something about it would be nice to know if they called in sick during their probation period. Well, if they do call in sick during their probation period, will that affect that?
Will it affect their employment or will it affect whether they're using sick time?
Their employment. If they're on probation, then they're allowed to still call in, correct?
Yes. And it would depend on the circumstances, of course.
Okay. I just wasn't sure about
Yeah.
your comment, so thank you.
Frank?
I agree with cleaning up these where there's a difference between representative and none. Are there other, we going through the basic handbook to see if there are other issues like this that we should address?
I'm sure that there are many, but we can only do a few at a time, probably.
Oh, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Just that we are looking at them.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Is there anything you'd like to put on the agenda for next month on any of these items? That you
No,
noticed?
I'm just, I'm concerned that if you have representative employees getting better benefits and non-represented, then in my mind, people are thinking, well, we should join a union then, so we get the same level. So we're being proactive to make that so that it's even, that all employees are getting the same.
Thank you. I have one that's just, I need to ask you about.
Okay.
And that's the Department of Public Works and Sewer and Water employees may not use sick leave credits to cover a period of absence less than 4 hours of their regularly scheduled daily work hours. So if there is somebody in here needs to take time off for a doctor's appointment in the morning, they're not allowed to.
They have to take a half a day off.
They have to take half a day off.
It's a scheduling problem if they're in a group and they have to send 3 or 4 people out. They can't have somebody leaving while they're in the middle of a project.
Okay, thank you.
There are times, of course, that there are oddities where they have to allow it. If somebody gets sick in the middle of the day and goes home because they're, vomiting or something, obviously they may have to use an hour of sick time if they leave. But as a rule, if somebody's going to leave for a doctor's appointment, they'll make them leave like on their lunch hour.
Then, did I read correctly that if you do not take sick leave for 4 months, you get credited with 1 more day of sick leave?
Correct. So you can earn 15 days a year if you don't use any.
All right, so that's an incentive then.
Yes.
So what we are looking for today is to have the committee approve this change to the sick leave benefits for non-represented employees.
Correct.
Correct? Is there a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
A second. Kathy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item passes. Our next item is a staffing report.
Well, that was only one part of the sick leave.
Okay,
There were
pardon me.
3 items on here. So
Okay. I
Didn't know if you wanted to-
apologize. I remember that. I just
Yeah. Didn't know if you were going to do the motions one at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. The second one is a discrepancy on when people can use sick time. When I first started here, it was pretty much understood that management could use sick time if you needed to stay home with your kids, your family member that lived with you type of thing. But that non-management employees could technically only use sick time for their own illness or their own injury. That's kind of changed a little bit throughout the years, and I think it has now become there's a discrepancy between how different departments handle it. Some supervisors, I believe, are allowing people to use it for their family members, and some are not. This was also talked about at our department head meeting a week or 2 ago, and I think most department heads feel that people should be able to use it for their immediate family members as well. If you have a sick child at home, somebody needs to be there. And honestly, what's to stop you for just calling in sick and saying that it's your own illness? We have a hard time policing it. It would probably be a help for hiring for people to know that they can use their sick leave if they're home with a child. I don't know that we want it to go to being able to use it for other family members outside of their own house, but that's something that we can talk about. Right now, they can only use it for people outside of their house if it's covered under family medical leave.
So are we doing, if we approve this change so that everybody's treated the same, is what this says, right?
For
As-
non-reps anyhow, yes.
For non-reps.
Yes.
We're not clarifying as to, are we saying, when we're saying family member, we're not clarifying that at all? I say that because I believe there's something in the body of what you gave us that talks about people that take bereavement leave, and there's a certain lineage that it follows.
I think we would write it in the handbook that it would have to be a family member within their household unless it qualifies under family medical leave.
So that we wouldn't, so that would stop from somebody having a cousin taking off to take care of the cousin, as a rough example, right?
Correct.
Yeah, just be a child. Is there a yes,
I want
Kathy?
to ask a question. So if you have like a parent that lives within your home and you need to take off for that, then that would be allowed?
Depends what you decide to do with it, but we would normally say yes.
Okay, so we're empowered, you said what we decide to do with it. Is that what you just said?
I guess you have two choices. First, we'd like to know what your opinion is on whether family members should be covered, but you can either make the motion to approve that and let us write up the language, or you can make the motion that that's what your intent is, but that you would want to see the handbook, the language that we would put in before your final approval. Otherwise, we would write the language and present the language to Common Council when they do their approval.
Are there any thoughts or discussions? Michelle?
I feel that it should be allowed for a family member. As Dana mentioned, somebody may lie and say they're ill when they're not. And they have to stay home with a child that's required to stay home from school, or I don't personally see an issue with it.
Right, and I understood the discussion being that we just need to further define who they would be, who the family member would be. Is that what you got saying? You said, right? Okay.
Yep.
Kaylee?
So how, I mean, I agree. I have kids, so I agree. Had to stay home with one of mine today. But the question would be, you're saying, either living within the household, and then there's common language in other handbooks that I've seen that would say, an immediate family member. So sometimes that could include, because FMLA typically would include, it says, an immediate family member doesn't necessarily mean they live in the household. It could be a parent that lives outside of the household. So my question is, you could go either way, but how would you verify?
I guess my thought, and I think most of the department heads that I talked to, I think we felt that if it was a parent that lived outside of your household, you probably do not need to use a sick leave for them unless it qualifies under FMLA, and then they should be filling out FMLA paperwork. This
fair.
was more the intent to cover your own illnesses, or if you had a child that's living with you or with an ex, that type of thing, where you may have to stay home with the child.
So then if that's the verbiage that you guys write up, is that it has to be someone that lives in the household, again, how would you verify? Assumably they could be a dependent on their, medical coverage. That's one way to verify. But if they don't have the medical coverage through the city, they have it through their spouse or something like that, how would you verify that it's for their kid or a family member within the household?
We probably can't, just like we can't right now if they're calling in to say that they have a headache and they're not coming into work.
Okay.
There is no way to verify it.
All right. Michelle?
One thought is I would think most supervisors would know, how many kids an employee has, for the most part.
Sure.
I would hope, if somebody doesn't ever talk about having children, and then all of a sudden they're calling in all the time because their child's sick. That may raise red flags, but I don't know, I guess just on the honor system.
It basically is. I guess what I'm kind of highlighting is it's kind of on the honor system now. I think it's more important that the verbiage in whatever paperwork you draw up is very clear to the managers of the people. It sounds more that, regardless of what you say, it needs to be very clear that every department behaves in the same way as well. So I'm just saying it has to be very defined so that everybody's doing the same thing. You can't have one manager say, sure, go take care of your dad, and the other one saying, no, you can't take care of your dad because he doesn't live in your house.
Yeah, and we would bring the language back to the department head meeting to make sure that all management knows.
Do we have a bereavement policy as well?
Yes.
Okay, as Damon explained, we actually, within this choice of number 2, we have 2 choices. One is to accept the change of treating everyone alike, but with the caveat that we were asked the administration to write changes to the handbook, which will come back to us for final approval, which would address, Kaylee, some of your concerns. You'll be able to review that. Now, I'd like to know whether anyone would like to make the motion for this specific item. Or our other choice is to accept the change, but allow the administration to write the changes in the handbook without us reviewing them.
But it would go to council.
Yeah.
They will go to council, right. But we would be the first line of review before it gets to council. So again, we have 2 choices. The real choice here is whether or not we would want to review the handbook changes before it goes forward to council, or two, just allow the administration to write the changes and go directly to council. So,
And this policy is only for non-reps?
Non-reps.
Okay.
Frank,
I think I would lean towards having it written and having us look over it because that's what we do, to look over stuff like that before it goes to council.
is everybody comfortable with that being a motion? Okay. We wish to make the motion?
I move that we approve it based on the fact that the language will be written and we'll have a chance to look at it.
To approve it, or?
To approve it, yes.
I'll second.
Okay, Kathy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All opposed? Item passes. Then number 3.
So the third part has to do with how many sick days an employee can accrue. Management staff has always been able to accrue unlimited sick time. We've had people that have had 3 years worth of sick time on the books. Most of the non-reps have only been able to accrue up to 180 sick days. And then if they accrue more, if they reach that, they just stop accruing until they've used some. We have a few oddball job positions that were able to also get unlimited sick leave. Those are people that had never been in the union. Some of the positions like planners, the nurses, a couple of the administrative staff. I feel that those people should no longer be treated differently than the people that used to be in the union, and then the unions were eliminated back with Act 10. So all of the non-management people should have the 180-day limit. Only management staff should have the unlimited ability. I don't know if that makes sense.
I needed to, my mind didn't work that quick.
Okay.
Okay, so there will still be a 180-day limit.
Yes.
Okay.
Police and fire unions are limited to the 180 days. All of our former unions, we used to have 4 unions, one for dispatchers, 2 different AFSCME groups, and a Teamster group, which was our clericals. All of those 4 contracts had a limit of 180 days. The only people that were non-management that could earn more than the 180 days are a few of the non-rep positions that never became unionized. And those are the ones like the nurses and the planners. Now that they are all non-reps, not in the union, all of those positions should have the same benefit, which would be the 180-day limit.
Okay.
And I will say that because we've had so much turnover in the people that were in those positions, there is nobody close to the 180 days right now. So now would be a good time to correct that.
I was going to ask, so there's nobody that is currently sitting at, 200 that is going to be upset or have to lose something.
No.
And granted, you could just say you no longer accrue until you hit 180 or go below,
Yeah.
and then you accrue to the 180. But
With a recent retirement of somebody that had been here 46 years, there's nobody that has been here that long in any of those positions.
Do we have any short-term or long-term disability programs?
We have both.
Okay.
It's voluntary that the employees would have to pay for.
Voluntary.
Yes.
What is the period, the exempt-in period for the long-term disability?
90 days.
90 days. So
Yep.
that 180 days could cover them until they go into
Yes.
long-term. Okay. But it is voluntary.
Correct.
Yeah, because I used it when I had my shoulder surgery. I used my sick days.
Yeah. Usually the long-term is fairly reasonable because there is that qualification
Right.
period. And then if you link it together with 180 days that you can accrue, you got yourself pretty well protected.
Yep.
Any other questions? Any discussion? Okay. So then the Item 3 then is that the Personnel Committee would put forth to agree that we would treat all of them the same. Is that correct? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Michelle made the motion and Kathy has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes. Do you need a little time before we get to the next item, or
Nope, we're good.
you're awfully busy? Okay, the next item is staffing report.
Just a couple things on here. I took them off, but just so you know, we did hire an chief electrical inspector that started a couple weeks ago, Bob Brinkman, so that position has been filled. We also hired a new planner the same day, Rose Melton, so those positions are filled. Just today, we did get a resignation from one of our firefighter paramedics, so we will have an opening in that department as of October 1st. Zach Menden. So that wasn't a complete surprise, but unfortunately he's leaving us. We continue to have a lot of positions open for CDL operators. We are now up to having 5 positions open between sewer and water and DPW. It's very difficult to find CDL operators. We had a job offer out to one applicant a week and a half ago. He was supposed to let me know last Monday, and he is now ghosting me, so he's obviously not taking the position. We do have 2 more people, I think, coming in for interviews this week, but it's tough to find 5 people with CDLs.
Michelle?
Thank you. Have we thought about changing the process with CDL drivers? I know other local municipalities will reimburse them if they stay with that municipality for X amount of time and so forth. I know that, for my son's position in Greendale, that every department is having this issue, but have we thought about changing this to attract more applicants?
Well, we have had approval from the Personnel Committee from a few years ago that we do have approval to send people to get their CDL as long as they reimburse us if they leave within 1 year. We do have one person going to CDL class right now that we did hire.
So if they leave us within 1 year, we're expecting them to reimburse us back?
Correct. That was Personnel Committee's decision a few years ago.
So how would that work? That'd just be taken out of their last paycheck? Or?
Yes. And we do that the same thing with people that we pay to go through the police academy. And if they leave, I think it's within 2 or 3 years, they have to reimburse us back a percentage, and they have paid us back. Yep. Unfortunately, it does get very expensive putting people through the CDL school, and we don't have that money set aside in our budget.
How long is CDL school?
Depends where you go. I think the shortest is probably around 6 weeks. METC, I think, is a little bit longer than that.
Is that 40 hours a week, 6 weeks?
Yeah, so we're paying their wages to go while we're paying for the class.
And so they reimburse us for the class, but not the wages.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? We're good?
The others are all on here.
All right. Then if we will then proceed to the next item, item 9 or 11, excuse me, future agenda items. Do we have any suggestions?
We will definitely have a meeting next month because it's our annual approval of the insurance changes or rates.
Mm-hmm. Are we good then? No other future agenda items. All right then. Our next scheduled meeting date will be October 20th, where we will have a presentation on the insurance benefits. So that is a meeting we can be assured that will be held. So our last item is adjournment.
We'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, item passed. Thank you, everybody.